Hello, I'm Todd Phillips, the editor of Canadian Auto Dealer. We're here today with Alan Bird, the president and CEO of TAC Automotive Intelligence. Alan, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Todd.
Well, we're here today to talk about the return of an event that we've all enjoyed in the past, Canada Night at NADA, and it's one of the highlights of NADA for many Canadian dealers and suppliers. But before we get to that, tell us about the origins of this and where did it start?
This really started based on a number of trips that I've taken down to the NADA. And it always kind of surprised me that as a Canadian in North America, we were given access to the international booth. And it felt like we really weren't part of it. And when you looked at all of the events that actually took place there was nothing that was Canadian specific. There wasn't an opportunity for our industry that a lot of us have been in for a long time and really built careers in. There's never been a specific Canadian event, and it was really based on sitting down and thinking about, could we get a number of vendors together that supported an event that allowed all of our dealers, because they're customers of all of ours, together with bring in some really good Canadian talent and really celebrate Canada and celebrate the Canadian automotive industry. And it was really just a vision that a few of us got together with, and it's evolved from there to be, I think, one of the highlights of the year. I mean, it's very seldom do you get, 500 or 600 Canadian automotive successful retailers, because they all are, in one room to celebrate, just to celebrate Canada, to celebrate the Canadian automotive industry. So that's kind of how it started. And that was, I mean, interesting. It was 2016 was when we first started it. And we brought Jim Cuddy down to Vegas, and the Canadian auto dealers and the vendors were responsible for actually getting Jim Cuddy to Vegas. He'd never performed in Vegas previously. So that really started it. And it's been on a roll, obviously, and until all of us got halted by the dreaded COVID.
I remember that first event. It was a great event, and it was a very intimate setting where we got to see Jim Cuddy perform. And this year it's happening in a much larger venue. I guess it has grown just to accommodate the demand. And it's happening Thursday, February 1st in Vegas. And I guess your organization has been sort of the leader of spearheading the industry to consolidate around and get involved. And again, you did a reach out to the supplier community, and many of them raised their hands immediately and said, yes, we're on board. How can we get involved? There's a planning committee. We're a part of that on the marketing side to help promote this event. But, are you, happy to see sort of those suppliers, put their hands up? And I recognize it's an expensive event. So maybe speak about, the need for just maybe a few more sponsors to round out that team.
Yeah, it was always designed to be, I'll say, vendor neutral, so that all of us were represented the same. There was no platinum level, there was no bronze level. It was really all of us entering an event, supporting it equally, having the same presence, and really bonded by the same goal of bringing everyone together. It was on a real roll. The last one that we had in San Francisco in 2019, for those that attended, was a spectacular event. It was the Bare Naked Ladies. It was 600 automotive dealers. There was a very small handful of vendors that supported it. And while it was 600, it was still intimate. They still talked about about Canada. They still talked about the Canadian industry. So it was a larger event, but still intimate. There's no vendor bigger than the other. There have been great supporters, and again, we appreciate that some organizations either put their money elsewhere and they don't want to support that, and there's no hard feelings. But we do make it exclusive for those that do sponsor the event. So the only suppliers that are invited are the ones that fund it, and rightfully so. So yeah, we have 12 great sponsors now. We would love to get to 16. We have 4 more spots open. This is really a reach out and a call out for any other vendors that we haven't been able to hear from, or haven't been able to reach out to, or that are new, or that didn't know about the event. We welcome all. There's, as I said, there's no exclusivity. We have 2 of the major banks there. We have a lot of the F&I providers. a lot of technology companies. And it's really just, as I said, I can't emphasize it more. It's just to celebrate Canada. It's to celebrate, the Canadian automotive industry. And that's why it's called, Canada Night, NADA. It's just for that reason. And for me, it certainly is a highlight of the year. And I'm really looking forward to bringing it back and not letting COVID put an end to it.
Well, you mentioned the suppliers kind of collaborating and getting along. So obviously, I've been on some of the planning committees, and you do have members of different organizations that compete for the automotive dealer's business. But for this event, they're sort of rolling up their sleeves and working side by each. And the benefit, I guess, really is when you go to NADA, as you know, it's such a huge show. It's easy to get lost in all the various events. And for suppliers, they're able to, who are serving the Canadian market, have all the Canadian dealers in one place at a big party, a social environment. So if they are your customers and they're going to be there, you don't want to be stuck on the outside of the event looking in. And so that's why it's important, I guess, for suppliers who do want to, have access to the dealers in sort of that social setting to get involved. So 4 spots are left, and you're doing a hard push to get over the finish line, right?
Yeah, we certainly think, there is no other event in Canada that brings 600 car dealers together. It's the number one event that people talk to me about, certainly throughout the year. And we'd love to have everybody involved. As we said, there's 4 more openings. If you're a company, you're thinking about touching and getting close to a number of dealers in this country, and they're all, very successful entrepreneurs. We would love to have you there. It's really open.
Well, let's speak a little bit about the event itself now for the dealer attendees, the reason they go. There's always top flight entertainment, Canadian talent. I know you can't maybe spill the beans on who that is just yet. That's going to come at a later date. But basically, you've got great music, Canadian talent, and food and drinks and networking and a real party atmosphere right on the eve of NADA. It's just as they're setting up their meetings and trying to have a productive NADA visit. It sort of kicks things off for Canadians in kind of a big way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've always had top-notch talent. In 2016, we had, as I mentioned, Jim Cuddy. In 2017, we backed away and supported CADA as they celebrated their 75th anniversary and brought down Red Ryder and Tom Cochran. And in 2018, we had Alan Doyle. And then in 2019, we had the Bare Naked Ladies. So, I've been told that I'm not supposed to leak who we have coming this year, but it may have something to do with the color of my jacket and something that you might see when you're riding a horse at some place. But I'm not supposed to
call that a bit of a leak, Alan, right there. That's
I'm not supposed to say, but that is the goal, and it is the plan, and we do look forward to being able to send out invitations. It is interesting when all the vendors get together, and we always bring up certain dealers, and not surprisingly, many of us deal with the same vendors, and it really is a great event where we're all Switzerland. We're all working together, and we're all there to create an opportunity for our customers that support our businesses all year long to have just a great evening, and just one that they can, again, celebrate, enjoy, and go to the NADA, but still feel Canadian. And I'm excited about it, and I'm excited that we brought it back, and with help of yourself and some of the other great automotive publications, we're going to get the word out, and we'd love to see everybody in Vegas on February 1st.
I know. I'll give a little plug to Laura Appleton on your team. She's been sort of the architect of all this, behind the scenes, organizing the committee, is doing a great job. And I had to arm twist her a bit to get you to do this interview, because she says you don't really want to be in the limelight, at the center of this. This is about, for the industry. So I appreciate that, but we need someone to come on and be a spokesperson and a catalyst to get the sponsors to shake a bit more money out to get this thing going. So thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you, Todd. I certainly am here representing all of the vendors, and we're looking forward to, again, adding 4 more and then bringing out as many of the great dealers across Canada as we possibly can.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for your time this morning.